guys wanted to talk about pressure to get married. Now we've already talked a bit about this that back on Valentine's Day, but it's been a while. How many months is it now? March, April, May, June, July. 5 months. So feel free to go on,
You know
guys.
what? I'm going to let Simran lead with this because the vim with which she suggested it on the group chat, she's clearly got something to get off her chest. So go on,
Because
Simran.
I think when we had it back then, when we had the convo, it wasn't that deep for me then because I was in uni, so I was not seeing any members of my family, at least not on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Now I'm home and I've been home for like a month now. I've seen like a lot of members of my family and like a lot of people that I've not seen in like a very long time, like pre-COVID we're talking. So like me before COVID, I was like, I just turned 20 and now like I'm nearly 22.
Oh, wow.
Sorry. So I'm now in a different age bracket, I would say, like, the post-degree, post-21, like I'm going into that. And now people are starting to say like, so, they're like, oh, so you found anyone? Are you seeing someone? Are you interested? Like, what are you planning it? Do you want to get married? Like, how studies going? Oh, now we can find you a man. Like, it's all just like, what? Like, I'm like, why is nothing to do with like, no one cares about the masters. No one cares about the person.
Oh, it's so typical, isn't it? Not even a congratulations, just when you're getting married.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, so you're not graduating properly this year. You're graduating next year, which means that you can get married by 2024 then, or something like. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, stop.
Simran, I know obviously your stepbrother's getting married. I'm curious if you don't mind me asking, how old is he?
27, 8.
28. Okay. And do you think he had pressure to get married before now or no?
No, he didn't get loads of pressure. But to be fair, I don't know why he was an anomaly, but everyone else in my family did have massive pressure from like 20, early 20s onwards. And I'm just like, you know what? The pressure doesn't feel that much at the moment, but it's the fact that it's the time between people saying it is getting more and more frequent now, and I'm starting to freak out.
Was your brother's an arranged marriage?
No.
Will yours be an arranged marriage?
Absolutely not.
Oh, really? You really against it?
I don't mind if someone was like, there's also another single male that's your age or roughly your age or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Maybe go out on a date and get to know him in like a good 6 years from now, nowhere near anytime soon. I have to be more, not, I was going to use the word desperate. Desperate's not the word, but like more like willing to do that than I am now, which is 0. Yeah, but like not like an arranged marriage, like, oh, you guys are getting married. I wouldn't mind being introduced. But not no bio data. No.
So, Simran, obviously you said like 6 years. So if, say, for example, you got into a relationship now and it was going really well, would you like literally be in that relationship for, you say, like the next 6 years before wanting to settle down? Or if it was like, say, 3 or 4 years in, would you be like, okay, maybe I'd be open to doing it earlier?
The thing is with me, right? Ever since I was really young, my career came first. Like when I was 14, I made a 14-year plan, which was basically a doctorate. So I'd be 28 by the time I'm a fully qualified psychologist, right? And on my 21st birthday, I realized I'm exactly 7 years into the 14-year plan. I had a massive existential crisis. I don't want to talk about it. It was horrible. And like I'm exactly 50% of the way there. Got 7 years left, and yeah, basically that preceded my entire life and all the decisions I made. So like that 14-year plan comes first, and not a lot. I can't see a lot, like especially not a man getting in the way of it.
I mean, that's fair enough. The thing is like obviously in our culture, it's such a cultural norm. A girl hits a certain age, and it's kind of what we spoke about in that Valentine's Day episode, where it's like the basically the sum worth of a woman is her child, her making a home, like making a family basically. So everything else is almost kind of like subsidiary. Like the same thing happens to me. Like got my first, mine started when I was 18, Simran, so you're even lucky that you've had it a few years later. Like you get your, honestly, like you go to university, they're concerned about marriage. My first degree, concerned about marriage. My second degree, concerned about marriage. Recently got myself like a good job, concerned about marriage. Like that's all they care about.
It's just like as a like, you know, I feel like the boys always get very geared towards like uni and like getting a career sorted and getting on their feet first, maybe getting a property or whatever. But for us, it's like we can have the uni thing for like 3 years, a little undergrad, and then it's like no, now you have to think about settling down and stuff.
Yeah,
and they're just like,
it's as though like our degrees and our career aspirations are just like cute, like little side things, side hustles, you know.
yeah, and I feel like people don't like it when I start with the 14-year plan, which is honestly absolutely fair enough. But like, I like to leave with it because I feel like you need to know that that comes first before literally anything else right now, because I'm not giving that up for anything really.
Well, your parents are calm, aren't they? Your parents are not like.
Yeah, parents are calm. It's just like
That's the most important thing. That's actually the most important thing.
It's just people that. But the thing is, like, in a way, I'd understand it more if my parents were saying it to me because they kind of can. If it was
people are gonna though, that's just the nature of our community, man.
I'm just like, you don't get a say. Like, focus on your own life. Like,
that's the nature of our community, and not just with marriage, but with everything else. With women, it's just like marriage is like they really can't fathom the fact that a woman might have any kind of life outside of marriage. So that's kind of like what it is that they speak about most with women. But it's one of those things, isn't it? You're gonna keep getting it, sis. You're gonna keep getting it.
When I tell people like, oh, this year's like now a master's, and it's like, oh, it's another year that you're not going to be like, you know, in like a full-time job, and then I'm like, no, but it's not just that. It's then another 3 years of work and then a 3-year PhD. Like, I'm not done. Like,
yeah.
And they like annoyed. I can see them like getting annoyed by it. And I'm like, first of all, it's not your life, and second of all, like 30 really is the new 20. Like, your 20s are for figuring this kind of stuff out. And like getting to know yourself and like going on your own self journey. And I feel like then if you're the type of person to settle down, do it when you're 30, like, or do it when you're 40.
And also, like, the annoying thing is like what you're doing is actually sick. Like, you've done so well for yourself. You're so prepared. You're so ambitious. Like, you're so passionate about what you do. It's such a good thing, you know. It's such an aspirational thing. And they're not even looking at that. They're not actually even stopping to say, like, and I bet you in your community as well, you're probably one of the first kind of generation of women to actually really pursue a career in that way, and really want something of herself. They're not even stopping to be like, oh my God, what you're doing is so good.
Yeah, for them, it's in like they don't mean it in a harsh way, but for them, it's like a waste of time. Like,
yeah,
but they don't understand the hard work and like the thought that goes into it, and where it'll end me up in 10 years time. It's just about like now, like, oh, she's not going to find a man. Like,
yeah, I know. Trust me, I bloody know. I get it every day. I'm about to hit 25. Everyone is stressed. Everyone is panicking. Who's gonna marry me?
It's like you're acting like they're saying you're past your like sell by date, like you're expired now because you're 25. 25. So young.
I'm not gonna lie though, like it has kind of slightly done a number on me. I even, so you know how you're saying like, oh, you're not that interested in like family and all that, like getting married, having kids and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I have always like wanted to start a family young because I don't know, like the brainwashing they did, it was successful, innit? So I personally have actually always wanted to like get married and settle down young. So even me, I'm a bit stressed. I'm like, oh my God, I'm 25. Where's my husband? I thought I was gonna have a child by 23, guys. I thought I was going to have a husband and child by 23.
Wow.
I mean, people do, like, I know people that are settled with, like, kids and husbands and houses and stuff. Like, you know, like, I see more and more people doing that.
Oh, you know some people. That's cute. Everyone I know has
a northern thing, though. No one down here can afford to do that. That is such a northern thing.
Oh, really? See, the thing is like, because I went to a primary school that was like 98% Muslims, and obviously like Muslim people tend to get married a lot younger. So from the ages of like 17, 18, I've been seeing my peers from primary school like get married, have children. Like that is a regular thing. Every year there's like a handful of people. But the thing is, I went to a high school that was predominantly white. Even my white peers are now starting to get engaged, have children, get out mortgages and all of that. I'm like, right, I'm actually getting on, you know.
It is. Carlos, how do you feel? What do you feel? Pressure? Is it like?
I don't really feel pressure, but I do feel old. Like,
well, that's because Carlos, you've been in like a serious long term. Like, you know, you're marrying your girlfriend sometime soon, anyway.
No comment. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't feel pressure. I wouldn't say so. I'm quite lucky in that sense. I think that's a variety of factors, obviously to do with being male and also being
Yeah,
mixed as well. Obviously, that kind of takes a
Mhm.
bit off, and not really having much South Asian family
in the
surrounding me, like
country,
in
yeah.
the first circle type thing. So I
Mhm.
suppose that's kind of a positive in that sense. I suppose. I mean, I would
What does
prefer.
your dad say, Carlos? Is your dad like bothered by that kind of stuff?
I don't think he's bothered. I know he's probably listening to this right now, so I'm gonna get in trouble. Like, but I don't think he's that bothered by it. But I do think that he is quite like he wouldn't mind what age I settle down or whatever, but he does want me to do things in a certain order
Oh,
rather
okay.
than like
Mhm.
so like I think like it is definitely marriage is the first thing rather than like having kids or that. Whereas I would personally not necessarily be against subscribing to like against the norm of like getting married and then having kids. Like I'm
Yeah,
open to
okay.
whatever, but I can understand why people do push for that in on one hand. But I think
Mm.
ultimately, like you kind of just have to grow. Like I said, 25. You have to make your decisions for yourself at the end of the day. Like you can't
Yeah,
really
yeah, exactly.
be can't really not pressured, but you can't really be worrying about oh what will they say, what will they say sort of thing.